Right, but the reason we proposed this was you guys were nice and they do such a
Yes, roll
great
call,
job.
please.
and-
All right, Chair Gary Delvo.
Yes.
Vice Chair Matt Schuler.
Yes.
Debbie Dean. Alder Kathy Hinkles.
Here.
Stephen Strubus.
Here.
And Melanie Parker is excused.
Excellent. I think we have a change to the agenda, so I entertain their change before we approve it. And that's what we're going to move
The
to.
hold number 2.
Number 2,
Yes, we will be asking the RDA for a special meeting later this week
okay?
to handle item number 2.
Okay.
So we're going to just ask that you hold item number 2 until the next RDA.
Okay.
Special one?
Yes.
Motion to approve? Only number two.
With number 2 being on the, yes, the motion by Alder Hinkle.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. The minutes are from actually September 3rd.
Yes.
And I think everybody got those?
Yeah, we're gonna change the date?
Yes.
Motion approved with change date.
Steve,
Second.
Debbie, I think Debbie.
Oh.
Debbie had her hand up here. Anyway, motion and second to move the minutes from September 3rd. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you. Regular business. Number 1, consideration of possible action to approve a 6-month planning option with 360 Real Estate Solutions LLC for development of 200 North Monroe. And that's
So we all recall our 200 North Monroe site.
Yep.
We've been through a sordid history with that, and we actually went out for RFP again and got a proposal back from 360 called the Monroe Residences. That information is in your packet. And there was also a representative here from 360. If we'd like to open the floor and have them talk about this proposal. Staff went through the proposal, went through it. It really is exciting, I have to say. It's 175 residential units, 27 of those being townhomes. There's going to be an activation of the first floor on Monroe. It's very similar to the original plan in some regards. And the design, of course, we really like that a lot as well.
Yes.
It's going to be mixed income, households between 60 to 100% of the area median income. If you're looking at the rent range, rental range. There's the project, it's, the information provided is exciting for us. It's got sustainability involved in it, harm prevention through environmental design. It's got public art elements in it as well, and some community spaces. We met with the development team, and we had just a couple of things we wanted to talk to them about, making sure that Monroe is activated in the design in some capacity. And then also just if they would be willing to work with us on moving up their timeline. We'd like to get a development agreement if we could by the end of the year would be great. I think they were looking at maybe first quarter next year, but we're excited about moving forward on the project. So if there's a way to make the school faster, we're into doing that with them. So if you'd like to open the floor.
Yes. I didn't say it.
Open.
Alder first.
Second by who?
Me? Debbie? Yep. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are open. Please give us a little background.
If you want to come on up.
Yeah, please. It's very exciting. Yeah, if you don't mind that.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Novak with 360 Real Estate Solutions. We're based out of La Crosse, Wisconsin, and we're excited to submit on the Monroe Residences here. This is a site that we have had our eye on for quite some time. We've got a little bit of history in the Green Bay community. We had the Watermark building on City Deck for several years, and at that time we had noticed the site was on the edge of downtown, and it piqued our interest. And so we're excited to be at this point where we are looking to partner with the city to catalyze this particular block with some new residences and some activation on the ground floor. So I'm available for questions. I think a lot of the information in the RFP is self-explanatory, but certainly open to specific questions that the RDA has.
Yeah, just a couple. So first of all, there's some townhomes
Yep.
on the backside along Quincy. tell me what led to the development of those, why not more apartment units as it was, or just kind of help me understand that.
Yeah, so as you move towards, I think it's the Whitney neighborhood, as you move east there, we really want to make sure that we're transitioning in a way that is soft towards the residential neighborhood, and recognize that there's not a high degree of residences around the perimeter of the site, but that it does transition into a neighborhood, and we want to be sensitive to that. I think the other piece, it brings a different unit mix and a different style of residence to the neighborhood. And please keep in mind that this is conceptual. We see that this is what really high level, this is what we're looking to do. The actual form and function of those townhomes may look differently as we dig into the details on the site program. So I would like to note that the whole site is intended to be for rent product, so there's not going to be any for sale product here. The townhomes will be for rent, as well as the apartments on the other side of the block along Monroe.
Go ahead.
I didn't see any financing information. Was there financing? No. Is your expectation to go after some tax credits? If you have that 60%.
No,
target.
this will not be a subsidized tax credit product
Okay.
as it stands now.
All right.
So the bottom line, you're looking for a 6-month planning option, and then we do a development agreement?
Correct. That's what we're targeting.
Okay. What would have to happen in order to move it up quicker? In 6 months?
You know, so a lot of times we start this planning process to say, when do we want to actually open for occupancy?
Yep.
Right, and so if you start to sequence this out, we know that it typically takes more time than everybody realizes to get to a point where you can get a shovel in the ground.
Yep.
And that timing is important. We want to get the timing right. So we don't want to open up a project on February 1st, right? So we kind of look at it from the starting point when we want to have the occupancy permit. How long is it going to take to build it? How much time do we need to plan it and entitle it and get financing put together? A lot of times that's a 12 to 18 month process.
Yeah.
And so I just want to be sensitive that we're setting realistic expectations on what it takes to do this.
Yes.
One of my favorite phrases is, it's better to do it right than to do it fast.
Absolutely.
Right, and so it's important that we engage with staff through this process to make sure that the city's needs are being met as well as ours, and we have all the key stakeholders that are on the same page, moving in the same direction. So we're not opposed to moving quick on this, as long as everything lines up.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
I will tell you right now, one of the biggest challenges we're facing within the industry is interest rates for permanent financing and even construction financing. It's just not real friendly environment for that. And so we're hoping, in the conversations we're having, is the expectation is that in the next 2 quarters, interest rates are going to start to come down, right? Which is trending the way we want it to trend versus the way it's been the last 24 months.
Yeah.
So, we're not opposed to moving quick, but we need to make sure that we got all of our ducks in a row.
Excellent.
And could you just talk a little bit, maybe go back a page, right there overhead, thank you. Is all of the parking spaces there kind of exterior to buildings, or is there some underground, or just to walk me a little bit through how much parking there is and where it's all located?
Yeah, so I think we have about 170 parking spaces, give or take. And again, please understand that this was a conceptual drawing that we put out there for the RFP purposes.
Yep.
I think being selected, if that's where the RDA goes, we'll get together with our architects and engineers, which is ISG. We'll work with the local team here and really drill into those details. The idea is there is parking on this first level. We don't know the exact extent of that right now. Right? We haven't programmed that far down to really say that there's going to be, X number of parking spaces, X amount of commercial space, X amount of community space. We know that there's going to be, what we'd like to see in that first floor from an activation standpoint is some commercial space with respect to incubator offices. One of the things we want to be sensitive to is existing vacancies within the marketplace on first floor retail, especially in the downtown area. If there's a surplus of space already out there, we don't want to add more space and have additional surplus space.
Right.
And so I think it's important that we think about that creatively and talk to folks in the room here as well as staff to say what is the need, how can we plug a gap, We've had really good success with incubator offices. So people who live on site may have a need for a small office that they can rent on a per case basis or a month-to-month basis or an annual basis. And we've had really good success and really good response to that model of a project. We also see activity room, leasing office, fitness center component on that first floor for the neighborhood. Again, details to continue to be fleshed out as we move forward.
And then the units are mentioned as 60% to 120% AMI.
Yeah.
Is there does the cap, the 120%, like someone comes in and they're 150, do we not rent to them?
No, so what we're looking at with this is missing middle income, missing middle housing. And so it's really intended to be people who are making a wage, a workforce wage, between that 60 to 120 AMI.
Okay.
So it's not going to be subsidized, we're not going to restrict anything, but we're targeting our model and the financial piece to hit that range
Hit
of.
those kind of rental
Exactly,
range. Okay.
exactly.
That helps. I wasn't sure if that was something about a tax
Nope.
credit that was going to.
No, the idea being that there's going to be studio apartments in here that will meet a certain demographic
Yep.
and a financial ability to pay budget, and there'll be 3 bedrooms that meets a different demographic. So you really capture a larger range of people with incomes as well as family sizes, and so it's going to hopefully target a large range of demographic here.
But from a previous development perspective, what project have you guys developed that closely matches this project?
So the most recent one is a project in the Cross called Fifth Ward Residences. It's 144 apartments and 14 townhomes on about a 4-acre site,
Okay,
right on the north end of town, near the La Crosse Menards.
okay,
So that'd probably be the most
okay,
comparable.
sure.
We've done a couple other ones, La Crosse, Onalaska. We just got one groundbreaking last week in New Richmond, Wisconsin.
Great,
So yeah, very similar in scope and scale.
very good, thank
Yeah.
you. Other questions, Kathy? Oh, I'm sorry.
So we're looking at a 6-month planning option, and as I'm listening here, is that too long? I mean, if you want to get it done by the end,
I think we can do the 6-month, and if we get something before then, great, but that gives them the 6 months they're looking for.
okay, all right.
We'll be in touch.
Jeff, you must
Yeah, I'm
have,
assuming you would be.
Jeff, you must have some thoughts on this.
I'm very familiar with 360 Real Estate Solutions. I've known Marvin Wanders for many years. He's a very respected and reputable La Crosse developer, and it's been great to work with Jeremy over the years as well. This is an attractive development for this site. Good project, good scale, the mix of townhomes, and also the demographic, the workforce demographic, the fact that they're not looking for any form of assistance to make a development like this happen. We will do everything to help support this to become a reality.
Thank you, Jeff. Any questions or comments? If not, thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent. Motion back to regular business.
Second.
Steve and Matt, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried, so we're back to regular order business. Pretty exciting, pretty exciting, to least.
Very exciting.
So I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to move forward, 6-month planning option.
Second.
And anxious to see anything before?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve.
Steve.
Okay, motion by Alderman Lindquist, second by Steve. Any questions or comments regarding the motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
There you are.
Thank you so much.
All right, very good. That's very exciting. Number 3. Number 2 can be moved to a special meeting. Number 3. Consideration with possible action to approve $35,000 in tax increment district affordable housing. Ta-da. Get it right, Jim. Funds for rental remediation on the 400 block of 4th Street, parcels 2-176, 2-177, 2-178, and 2-178-A. And that is Matt, of course.
So you might recall back in June, NeighborWorks came forward to the RDA to request a development agreement for the 4th Street site, the RDA-owned 4th Street site. And that approval was awarded. So they are looking to do 7 townhomes on this site. They did also receive some home Chodo dollars. As we continue to work with them, we identified some additional costs for environmental remediation. Early on, we had, before even acquired the site, we did our homework as staff to really understand any environmental impacts on the site. We've been working with our environmental consultant, Stantec, to do assessment work. We did identify some soil contamination. Nothing too intense or worrisome, but something that needs to be addressed with redevelopments.
Yep.
This is quite common for the downtown area where we see PAHs in the soil. So that's typically addressed through some simple capping of the site. So working with NeighborWorks and Stantec, we identified a path forward to cap that contamination. We're looking at costs maybe between $25,000 and $35,000 to help address those costs for remediation. Staff is recommending that we use TDA funds. TDA is an appropriate funding source for this. There is affordable housing going in 4 of these units. It's local dollars, so we're able to deploy those rather quickly to allow them to move forward on their project without any further delays. So that would be our recommendations.
Questions?
What is the source of contamination?
In this case, it's undocumented historic fill. So what that means is, once upon a time, typically we see this in the early 1900s, they brought in this fill material onto a site to raise it up, make it drier, get it out of wet areas. What's that?
I said bits and pieces.
Bits and pieces. So they brought in this fill material to raise the side up, and that source of that material is really unknown. We don't know where it came from, but wherever it came from, it was a contaminated site.
It's always interesting what you find down there.
Right.
Any chance it's Jimmy Hoffa?
Yeah. We have to send this out for RFP then to do that, to do the work? No. No? Okay.
No, it's pretty good.
Just do it. All right, get a motion.
I have a motion to approve 35,000, it's not up to, it is 35, correct?
Up to.
It's probably up to.
Up to $35,000 into TDA funds for the environmental remediation
Easy for you.
remediation of the 400 block 4th Street project.
Second. A motion by Debbie, a second by Matt. Any questions or comments with regard to the motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you. Very good. Good luck with that, Matt.
Thanks.
You be out there personally digging up your shovel?
Capping.
Maybe.
You wonder where it comes from.
Sure else is no.
Contaminated
We got a
back.
timeline on that.
Yeah, right.
Sites typically.
Okay, number 4, consideration of possible action to approve the selection of an engineering consultant for Shipyard Phase 2 Park Development. That's also Matt, I'm sure. Anybody from Parks here yet?
Em is on the call, but I can take the lead with this one.
Please.
All right, so we are at the exciting moment of working on Phase 2. So this is our shipyard site, of course, as you see on the screen. Phase 1, if you go to the next slide, is everything that touches the water. So that's our riverfront promenade, our floating docks, our fishing pier. We've got some fish and wildlife habitat improvements as well that we funded with Phase 1, a lot of site work, a lot of environmental remediation work, utility work, stormwater. So Phase 1 is just about wrapped up. In fact, it might be done in the next couple of weeks. So we hope to actually hold a small event to celebrate that opening. But we're here now to talk about Phase 2. So if you go to the next slide, this area you see here is Phase 2. So that includes the great event lawn, the playground, the dog park, the urban beach. It's not really shown here, but we also anticipate there being a small building for restrooms to be incorporated. A splash pad is also a key part of this second phase. So we are at the point where we need to select an engineer to take this picture, these concepts, actually create construction documents, do all the engineering, the final design work, so we can put this out to bid for construction. So we've been working very closely with our Parks Department on this process. They put an RFP out for engineering back in August. We did receive 3 qualified engineering firms did submit on this. We had a formal review process which incorporated staff from Public Works, Parks Department, Community and Economic Development. We also had Carrie, our RDA chair, sit in on the interview process for that. Through the scoring, we did ultimately determine that Ayers was the candidate that we would like to recommend moving forward with. They are the team that scored the highest. They aren't the lowest cost. You see here, Stantec, who we'd worked with prior, was the lowest cost. Staff is recommending we go with Ayers, though. There's a few reasons for that. Stantec, we worked with them very closely on the master plan. We were very, very happy with their services for master planning. We relied on them also for construction engineering, construction oversight for Phase 1. We did have some hiccups. We had a lot of changes with costs. So because of that experience, we are recommending we move forward with Ayers. Another consideration with Stantec was in their proposal, they were, the cost was factored on a playground design that is basically a standard, something out of a catalog. With the RFP, though, we were requesting very custom, special playground that you won't find just anywhere. So that's a big reason for that difference in cost between Stantec and those other 2 candidates. So that's staff's recommendation, is to move forward with Ayers. Gary, you were part of the process.
Yes.
I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to say today.
Just it was unanimous, very close, but unanimous. And I guess the other thing that's kind of nice is that they have a very large presence right here in the city, at 50 employees, and so that also makes it very nice. But 2 very good proposals. But like I said, it was unanimous and was close, but unanimous. So I'm very satisfied with the recommendation.
Matt, you had mentioned maybe bathrooms?
That's part of the scope, yes.
It is, that we will
Yes.
have bathrooms.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
I mean,
Not a maybe.
yeah, because I wrote down maybe, I heard you say, and I went, wait a minute, there has to be bathrooms.
Misspoke. There will be bathrooms.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, any questions or comments?
Just one quick one, because it
Yes.
looks like, right, Ayers and Smith are really close.
Yeah.
Scoring,
Yeah.
costs,
Yeah.
you know, right,
Yes.
not trying to separate
Yes.
Ayers, but could you just, with a little context, why Ayers
Yeah.
versus Smith? Like, what was the feeling out of the proposals?
It was really tight. The proposal from Ayers was a little bit more focused on the engineering and construction oversight, whereas the Smith Group presentation was more focused on more of the design, the landscape architecture side of things. And really this project is implementing a vision that we've already established.
Yep.
And Smith Group, I think, would be a really good group for the master planning side of things, the visioning.
Right.
But because we've already done that work and the scope is really more focused on engineering, implementing a design that's already kind of been worked out, that's kind of the reason why we decided to go with theirs.
Yeah, kind of adding to that, the team presenting from there has got a good cross-section of people, all three of the skills that we're looking for. And so I think that also made the team presentation little stronger as well. Good, we're lucky to have two very good proposals, two very good companies.
Right, there's really no wrong decision here. They're both very, very qualified.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the
Eric?
engineering firm.
Second.
Motion by Alderperson Lucas, and a second by Matt. Questions or comments in regard to the motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please say by saying aye.
Aye.
Just a kind of a side note, it is totally irrelevant, but we're ranked number one in the nation, and there's a lot of factors that go into that. But one of them is quality of life, and a big part of quality of life is the parks. And so I just
Yes.
overall want to commend our Parks Department, because I just think you do it dynamite. Anyway, I digress. Okay, informational. I didn't have any questions or comments in regard to the financial report and check register. But I don't know if anybody else did. Oh, Brownfields, yes. Brownfields program update, please.
Yes, thank you. So I'm here again. If you remember, I was here last quarter to represent the Brownfields. The RDA is the Brownfields Advisory Committee. So what that means is we as staff are required by our EPA grant guidelines to present periodically to you on our grant expenditures for all three of our grant programs. So I'm here today to provide a pretty high-level status update. We have incurred some additional expenditures since last time I was here, so just to share those with you. So once again, we have three grants. One of them, and the one that's really the most active for us right now, is our EPA assessment grant. And what that is used for is conducting phase 1 and phase 2 environmental site assessments, as well as supplemental site investigations and coming up with those remedial action plans to then move forward with conducting the remediation activities. So it's the pre-work before the cleanup starts, essentially. So with that, we're currently working with 6 properties. I've included in your packets a table that shows each property, our most recent plus our past environmental activity that's been completed since we've started this grant in 2023, and then the budget that's been expended for each of those activities. So just as again, high-level overview of where we are since last time I was here, we have conducted some additional phase 2 assessments for the 1400 Main Street property, for the public market parcels and the Vanderbrack property, and then we've also conducted additional site assessments and are working on remedial action plans for both the 4th Street parcels, as we were just talking about, and Badger Sheet Metal. So all said and done, those costs plus some general grant administration costs bring us to total expenditures so far of $106,848, which represents 21% of that $500,000 grant budget. Moving on to the EPA Brownfield Cleanup Grant. That grant is a $1 million grant that is specifically earmarked for cleanup of the Badger Sheet Metal site. So you'll see in the staff report, 0% of budget spent on that one. And again, that's because we've been still conducting those pre-remediation activities, preparing that remedial action plan, working with the developer to finalize those plans. And then once we start with the remediation, we'll kind of transfer the forthcoming expenditures then to this grant, and then you'll start to see some more activity and spend down there. And then the last one is our EPA Brownfield Revolving Loan Fund. That's an $800,000 sub-grant and loan program where we are able to award those funds to property owners and developers for cleanup of brownfield sites. We haven't had any to date. We have been working with our consultant discussing some potential activity there and eligibility, but again, up to this point, haven't had any spend down except for travel costs, which are incurred for the, is it twice every 2 years?
For 2 years, yeah, there's a national.
A national conference. That was about $3,400. And then the city also contributes toward a $160,000 cost share for this grant. And that primarily as far as costs that have been applied toward that cost share, we've got $13,667 in staff hours and just over $3,200 for contractual services.
I'm a busy young lady. Are you having fun, Rebecca?
I am.
Oh, that's
Yes.
good.
That's a really nice report, thank you.
Thank you.
Very good job. Questions or comments regarding the report? If not, thank you, Rebecca.
You're welcome.
Director's report and project updates.
So we handed out our sheet. Remember when there's just one page on this?
Yeah.
I was thinking back to the old days now.
What's going on?
Where did only one page
Where does this all
stuff?
come from?
What's going on? A couple of things though, I mean, certainly ask us any questions on these projects here. We are looking to bring the changes back for the development agreement. We'd like to get that to council next week Tuesday, so we'd like to hold a special RDA meeting, like Friday morning if possible. Friday, people are, Monday's cutting it close.
What do you want to do?
So there are some changes that we need to make to the development agreement for NOVA, some
Oh, for
date
NOVA.
updates, and a lot of plans working on that now. We'd like to get that to council for next Tuesday, so I'm trying to push it back to Friday.
Friday morning.
If possible, if I can get somebody, or a quorum for Friday morning at some time.
I can be here.
I think it will go out dark, but we'll, if you have a quorum, Matt can certainly handle it.
Is there a time that works better for you? We'll make it work.
Virtual.
It could be, yeah, it could be virtual.
Friday morning. 8 o'clock.
Vacation. Vacation.
I was trying to free up your day.
Yeah, right.
Go and do it.
Taking in my soft clothes while I'm still having my morning coffee.
I'm open to proposals. I threw one out. I guess it wasn't accepted.
8 sounds really nice.
No, I'm totally flexible. I was just,
9?
Sure. Yeah.
9 a.m.
Steve, does 9 o'clock work?
I think I can fit that in, yeah.
Works for me.
Okay, great.
Okay, so we'll set that up for
Yeah. And I'll see.
And that's time enough to get it to council?
Yeah. Yeah.
Friday, 9 a.m.
Friday at 9 a.m.
Somebody firing out.
And then I'm just giving you,
Yes.
yes, we'll send all an email. And then also Lisa pointed out to me that in November, council is going to meet the same day as the RDA, November 12th. So we may want to think about moving that RDA meeting, we can get something for council.
Sure. If you November 5th, that would probably be.
I probably would
That's
avoid November 5th.
I was going to say, I would probably avoid November 5th.
Oh, of course.
Of all the days, maybe that day will work.
Right, right.
Yeah, I'm not really looking to be around City Hall on November 5th.
Right, but if there's somewhere in that week, so we can get to that council meeting on the 12th. but anything, I'm sure that would be helpful as well.
I prefer, probably Thursday, actually Wednesday or Thursday would work.
Like 6 or the 7th.
6 is a little better for me, but
Okay.
I can make either work.
That's a Thursday?
Yeah. 6 is Wednesday.
No, 6 is a Wednesday.
Is there one day is better, Wednesday or Thursday?
No. We had a lot of meetings on Tuesdays, so.
Thursday's better.
Thursday's better?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
I can do Tuesday.
You can do Thursday again?
Yeah, I can do any, I mean, I'll make it work.
You want to do Thursday?
Yes, that's right, Thursday. Does that work for you?
Like the afternoon, like our standard 1:30?
Yeah,
or-
yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
God, it's gonna be in November.
Yeah, right. Okay, we got it down.
Okay, I'll send that out as well. Okay, Any questions on anything going on?
Is there anything
With developments?
Any,
We got all of our TID things in order,
yeah,
Yeah.
resolutions passed, all that.
Shower and
For
Schumacher.
now.
Is read yet?
Shower and Schumacher has until November. I think for the planning option.
Met with that developer yesterday,
Awesome.
and so moving forward, progress.
That's one of the ones that, since I've been on the RDA for like 6 or 7 years.
Yes.
So that's why when I saw it in red, I'm like, oh,
Yes.
does that mean the proposals? But it is coming in, good.
Yep. Well, we'll bring it back.
Yes.
if we have any questions, we'll contact the director, Matt. Thanks. So it's not gonna be November 12th, it's gonna be
November 7th.
November 7th. Okay. With that in mind, that's the other, questions or comments for staff or anybody? Not, Jeff, you got anything?
A couple quick ones for you. The former Glory years, some of you might remember it, right across the street, attached to the Quality Inn and Suites,
Oh, right.
a historic building, formerly Vince Lombardi's office,
Yes.
has been reopened as Latin Flavors. They opened recently. I thought it was outstanding that the Latin Chamber of Commerce celebrated with them, and they are off to a good start, so put that one on your list to check out. Open 6 days a week. Now that's a restaurant right across from Fox Harbor.
Yeah.
The owners of the hotel have redeveloped what some of you might remember as the Astor Room, and it is now known as the Washington Ballroom. And they did a beautiful total redevelopment of that space, accommodates 240 people.
Wow.
And that will be becoming more public in the very near future when they get their website up and running. But that space is operated by the Quality Inn, and most likely the catering will be provided by Latin Flavors. A development that I toured recently, and I'm not sure if I brought you up to date on this one, but many of you might remember the former Recca and Giovanni's law firm on Monroe Street, right across from the hotel, right across from the cathedral. And we saw that building underutilized for many years, for sale, for lease. And it was acquired recently and redeveloped as 8 apartment units, 5 2-bedrooms, 3 1-bedrooms, in the same neighborhood that 360 is interested in. And in very short order, 7 out of 8 of those units are already occupied. So they're off to a great start. I forgot to mention that on numerous occasions, I have toured the developments of 360 in La Crosse, and the quality of their product is outstanding. One project in particular that I know that they cooperated, it was a co-partnership with the University of La Crosse, was a development that was extremely impressive. So we have significant confidence in their ability to deliver this scale and quality.
Very good. Leah?
Working on the winter market already. I shouldn't say already, it's feeling like it
That's
outside.
Yes.
So we'll be indoor again at the Green Bay Plaza on both sides of Skechers.
Great.
Our outdoor market still goes until the end of October though.
Oh, good. No, the weather's
Shop
ideal. It's been very cooperative.
Actually, the weather's been just perfect.
Beautiful.
The spring was a little tough on us for rain and
Exactly.
and for the crops. So there's not a lot of pumpkins this year, which is interesting. They got flooded out. And then apparently Festival bought up almost all of the fields. So we don't have many at the
For the
moment.
great pumpkin blowout.
Well, up into the county.
We're still working on trying to develop the permanent farmer's market.
Permanent,
Okay.
And possibly partnering with the city. And I just sent an email earlier today to figure out what our next steps would be.
Excellent. Any other questions or comments for staff? Kathy?
No, but thank you, guys.
Debbie? Nope.
Good job.
Then a
Great
motion-
job,
A motion to
always.
adjourn. I should do like Gary used to say, we are adjourned, the chair rules, you know what he used to say? Well, we'll do it the right way. Motion and second. Second. All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I used to, remember that?
Yep.
Chair rules, we're adjourned.
And again.
Very good, thank you.
I feel like James.